another episode of the Jay Youngblood Experience. Today we're turning down the jokes and turning up the realness. Because this episode isn't about hype, isn't about sports, isn't about jokes, isn't about ego. But it's kind of about survival, truly. As many of you know, if you don't know now, you do. This month in June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So this episode is for every man carrying pain in silence, for the brothers who laugh out loud but cry in secret, for the fathers, sons, and soldiers who were told to be strong but were never taught how to heal. Let's be honest, the world teaches us early that being a man means being tough, but nobody tells us how to carry grief. Whenever you lose somebody, whenever you go through a breakup, whenever something catastrophic happens, nobody teaches us how to process those emotions. We're taught, to wear armor, not to really feel anything, to power through the pain instead of addressing it. And that's how we end up walking around like a loaded weapon, angry, anxious, depressed, and numb, but smiling on the outside. What's crazy is you won't notice when a man is depressed. You won't notice that a man is depressed. You won't notice he'll be smiling. Most depressed person is probably the one making jokes in the room. So this episode is going to get very personal. We're going to be talking about mental health today, specifically for men. Specifically for men. And if you think this topic is soft or not worth the mic time, not worth your time, then you're exactly who needs to hear this, because real men cry too, and real men need to heal. From the moment we as men are boys, the world hands us a script, says, don't cry, toughen up, be a man. Whether we fall off a bike, lose someone we love, we're expected to keep on moving and suppress our emotions. Vulnerability is seen as weakness. Sadness, that's for girls. And as we all learn so early, if it hurts, then you have to hide it. We wear a mask of a different face so well that even our closest people don't know when we're struggling. We keep it together in front of kids, loved ones, partners, friends. But inside, some of us are seeking. And the worst part is most men won't reach out. They won't talk to anybody. Not because we don't want help, but because we're taught asking for help makes us less of a man. So we suffer quietly, fatally. Suicide is one of the leading causes for death among men under 45. Just think about that for a minute. Men are dying literally from silence and depression. So this idea that talking is weak, that it makes you vulnerable, is completely shameful. And it absolutely needs to stop. I'm going to read y'all a couple of statistics real quick and tell you how serious it is. So 1 out of 10 men experience depression or anxiety, and less than half receive actual treatment. 80% of all suicides are men. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide, making up almost 80% of all suicides. And 40% of men have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. I'm going to read you another one. Give me 1 second. 500,000 men a year, 40,000 men a month, 10,000 men every week, 1,400 men every day, 6 men an hour, and 1 man every 60 seconds commits suicide or dies from suicide. So let's talk about the culture that we have in United States of America currently. Specifically, let's talk about hip hop, a genre built on resilience, survival, and struggle. But also, as of lately, men have been coming out more vulnerability for the past couple years. And for years before that, hip hop have glorified to being untouchable, heartless, ice cold. But in the last decade, some powerful things have happened. The beat is so much, you know, no pun intended. The beat has changed. The lyrics finally got honest amongst a lot of people. For instance, Kid Cudi cracked open a door when he spoke openly about depression, loneliness, and suicidal thoughts. He became a voice for the voiceless men out there. Then you have Kendrick Lamar. He wrote entire albums unpacking trauma, PTSD, and guilt from growing up in Compton. Then you have Logic. He wrote a prevention anthem with the 1-800-273-8255, and he changed lives, literally. And even some of other mainstream rappers like Drake and J. Cole. They started dropping raps, rhymes to go beyond flexing money and riches. And they talk about fear, heartbreak, identity, therapy, and even self doubt. And suddenly hip hop became more than a shield, but it became a mirror for the person listening. And this shift really does matter because music is medicine. When these artists speak their truth, it gives us permission to speak ours. If your favorite rapper can admit he cries and go to therapy, maybe you can too. And that's the beauty of art. It really is. It breaks change, right? And now picture this. You're sitting down with someone who's lived it. Maybe it's a therapist who worked with men for many years. Maybe it's a former NFL player who lost his identity after retirement. Or maybe it's a regular dude just like you and me who hit rock bottom and is finally asked for help. The stories are different, but the pattern is the same. A man reaches his breaking point. He's buried everything for so long that it eventually explodes. Some find themselves divorced, others in jail, some wind up in hospitals, and obviously, even worse, they end up in the ground. But then suddenly something shifts. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's just admitting words like I'm not okay. And that's half the problem. And that admission, that first tick, that's the first brick in the road for healing. And this is real experiences that people go through. Because hopefully someone who's listening right now and if you're in a dark place and you're hearing someone else survive, you may need that push. So what are some of the solutions we can come up for? It's not just raise awareness. It's not what I'm doing. I post all the time about mental health for men. I'm a big advocate for it because, listen, it doesn't matter what you're going through. I guarantee you someone would much rather pick up the phone or text you over seeing you be put 6 feet under. We need to build real spaces where men can talk openly without judgment. Podcasts, platforms, barbershops, locker rooms, group chats. There needs to be more places where a man can say, I'm hurting. And then other men will go up and say, hey, I got you. Instead of, man, just toughen up. Because us as men, we were not taught this whole thing of toughen up or a whole thing of healing. We don't know how to heal. We weren't taught how to heal. We were taught to be the shield for everyone else. We should raise boys who believe crying doesn't make them weak. Show young men that strength includes the softness that comes with saying, hey, I'm not okay and that's okay, but I need to find ways to be better, do better, and get into a solid place in my life. More men need to learn emotional intelligence and learn that is part of leadership. You're going to go through problems, you're going to have these heartaches, and the best option is not to hold it within. the best option is to let others know and talk about it openly amongst your peers. So we just need us as men support each other, not tell each other to toughen up or it'll get better. Actually talk through these issues. Best thing you can say to a person whenever they're going through anything is definitely, "Hey, you're not alone. You were not alone." And this is going to get a little vulnerable for me, but I'm going to talk about it just so other men who are listening to this, other people, not just men either, um, know what it's like, right? Many times on this podcast, I've talked about losing my grandmother. I was 14, 15 years old, and you know, it wasn't fun losing your best friend, losing someone you looked up to. It's not easy. It's hard because from the jump, little boys were trained to suppress our emotions. You know, it starts off super small, like you fall and scrape your knee, and someone says, "Don't cry, be a man." You show fear, and they call you soft. You feel sadness, they say, "Suck it up." And every time it sounds innocent, but over time it programs your brain to believe that your emotion is a liability, which it's not. It's not. And then by the time we become men, we've built emotional cages around ourselves. We've learned that a vulnerability gets clowned and a weakness gets punished. So we mask up. We put on a strong face at work. We make jokes with our friends. We tell women I'm fine. But we're truly, some of us are dying inside. So we carry the pain like it's part of the job description of being a man. But over time, that mask breaks. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually, if you don't get all those feelings out, if you don't get all the issues out, it breaks. And then it shows up as something else. It shows up as rage, addiction, burnout, infidelity, isolation, or even violence. When a man isn't allowed to feel, he becomes dangerous. And we got to talk real shit. Like, men die at 3 to 4 times higher rate than women. And it's not because men are weaker, but it's because we're taught to not ask for help. We wait until we're on the edge to even consider reaching out. And by then, it's often too terribly late. Our system that we have built among the years is broken. Our definition of masculinity is broken, and we've got to stop pretending that silence is strength. Silence is survival, but it is not living. It is not living. Not at all. Not at all. So first, we need to normalize therapy for men. Erase the stigma completely. Therapy is not just thing for women. It's not a weak thing. It's not a luxury. It's not a tool for healing. It's a way for us to get better. And if you don't want to call it therapy because the stigma behind it, call it coaching. Call it counseling. Call it talking to someone who won't judge you. Just go out and do it. And we need better places for men, to be honest. Not like a podcast episode like this, not Instagram caption that only is read once, but everywhere. Everywhere, no matter where you're at, with family members, a cookout, a garage sale, a gym, wherever men gather is where we need to make it safe to say, "I'm struggling," and it's not met with laughter, but with love and compassion. We've got to raise our boys differently because the next generation coming up deserves better. Don't tell them to man up. Tell them it's okay to feel the emotions you're feeling and let them feel it. I am not a parent. I will not be getting to even understand what it becomes to happen as a parent. But I do know that men deserve to feel what they're feeling without being judged or made fun of. Teach our men emotional intelligence. Let them cry without shame. Let them see that strength is not soft. Strength is not soft. You're okay to cry, and that is not called softness. And finally, support your people. Check in on your boys, your homies. Not just, what's good, but, how are you doing really? And if they say, oh, I'm fine, check on them again. Well, what's going on with life? How's the kids? How's the wife? How's the work going? How are you doing emotionally, mentally, physically? How are you doing? Sometimes just showing up for that person is the medicine they are looking for. And now going back to what I was saying about my grandmother. Whenever I was 14 years old, I lost my grandma, unfortunately, to pneumonia. I think prior to that, she also had a stroke. And prior to that, she also broke her back. Now, when I tell you that was not a good feeling for me, it was not. Let me tell you this also. When I first heard the news, I was so unaware what death is, unaware what the feeling I was feeling, that I almost felt like nothing. I almost felt nothing. This is my first big loss in life at 14 years old. I almost felt nothing. I didn't realize how bad it was and how much she meant to me, how much that death hurt me until we got to the funeral and I saw the casket. I saw the casket there. And of course, I was asked to speak. And I am so thankful and honored for the fact that I got to speak at that funeral because it let me let all my emotions out right there. I didn't feel until I got there and started speaking. And then I realized how much that woman meant to me. And it wasn't easy, seeing all these people that I grew up with who I've been around since I was a child. Obviously, I still was a child, but everybody I had grown up with, seen, had interactions with growing up, and being able to tell them more to the story that was my grandmother and telling them how much she meant to me and how much she did for me and how much her legacy will live on was absolutely beautiful. And as a 14-year-old, not only a 14-year-old, but a 14-year-old and, going through the things he's already going through, but then jumping on that too, it was an absolute honor. And I did not know what pain was until I turned 14. And I don't even mean it's emotional and mental and physical pain. You can feel the pain whenever you lose someone that close to you. You can feel the pain in your chest and your extremities and your toes and your feet, and your body aches, which is a beautiful thing. And a lot of you are like, why is that a beautiful thing? You're in pain. You're in pain. That means you love someone. That means you had feelings for that person. That means they did something that changed your life. If you lose someone, whether death or just in general because they're out your life, and it hurts, that's how you know you loved that person. That's how you know that person meant the absolute world to you. It meant everything to me whenever I got to speak there. And the fact that I felt pain for weeks, months after that meant a lot to me. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Now, do I want to feel that pain? No. But it meant a lot to me, not only for the development of me and my character, me as a man and a person, but it helped me understand what the feelings were. It helped me understand that this life is very fragile. And though it may be the longest thing you ever do, it's fragile and it can go by and go away in a minute. it can go away in a minute. So whenever you lose someone, yes, it's awful. It's terrible. I hated going through it. It sucked. It was not fun. But the fact that you have that feeling meant the opposite. You're you're sad, you're depressed, you're anxious, blah blah blah. But then you're also on the other side, whenever that person was alive, whenever that person was there, you were loved. You were happy. You felt joy when you were around that. You have memories of that person. That will never fade. That will never go away. That will never go away. I dedicated my entire backs and both of my ribs to my grandmother. That's how much she meant to me. And the reason I did those things was not because I wanted art on my body or I enjoy tattoos, which I do, but because every time I have my shirt off, whether I'm at the beach or a pool, no matter where I'm at, or if I go get a tattoo and people are questioning, why are you getting this tattoo? Or the tattoo artist asked this. I have a story to tell about why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And I can talk about my grandma one more time. And then I lost my grandfather. Now, this one, I knew what was going to happen whenever he passed away. I knew. I knew what that feeling was going to be. So I prepared myself. I was ready. I was not that I wouldn't say ready. Let me take that back. I wouldn't say I was ready. I would say I was prepared my mental, my emotional, and my physical for the ability to understand what was going on. And I had the emotional intelligence to understand that, yes, he may be gone. Yes, he may not be here anymore, but the memory of my grandfather lives on. It hurt so much because it felt so good. It hurt so much because it felt so good. I was able to experience my grandfather from the time I was born in '01 until he passed away. What are the odds of that happening? One in probably millions. And I got to live in the time, not only with my grandmother, but also with my grandfather. And I was able to be family members with them and also experience them in life. And it was hard. Losing both of them was extremely painful. And like I said, it's not just emotionally, it's not just mentally, but physically painful. And luckily, I have an amazing support group in my family. I remember when my grandmother died, my brother Daryl texted me literally every day. Every day. Always checked in on me. Always, because he knew the bond me and grandmother had. He texted me literally every day. So shout out to you, Daryl. I love you, brother. I'll never forget that. That's something I'll never forget. And having the support group I have, not only with my family but my friends, and they check in on me, make sure I'm doing good, is something that is absolutely beautiful. But unfortunately, not all men have that. Not all men have the support group they need to feel like their problems are heard, to feel like they're understood. Because it's hard losing someone. It's hard. I understand, and there may be some issues that men are having right now that I wouldn't even begin to understand. But losing people is hard. Not fun. It hurts physically. You feel it in your chest. And most of you, whether you have lost a loved one or not, or if you just lost someone who's still living, you know that pain. Or if you got in a divorce, or you got in a car accident, you lost a child, you lost whatever you may have lost. It's not fun. And as a man, we are told to suppress those emotions. We are told to not speak out. We are not told to shut up and keep going. And men, I'm going to tell you right now, there is no reason for that. There's nothing wrong with you, and everything wrong with society telling you that you can't feel these things. You can't. And shout out to Dak Prescott. The reason I say that, whether you care about this man or you think he's a good football player or not, this man lost his mother. This man lost his brother, I believe, also to suicide. His mother died of cancer. And he is a big advocate for men's mental health, speaking up and talking about it. And I respect him as a man solely because of that notion. He's living without his mother, without his brother, and he is still playing football and advocating to help others. He could have broke down and just went nowhere. He could have broke down and went nowhere. He could have let his life collapse among him, but he didn't. So no matter what you think about Dak Prescott, because of that, I respect him so much. And that is beyond football itself, because he is such a big advocate for men's mental health. And this month, we all need to appreciate the men we have in our lives, the men we look up to, the men who taught us so much, the men who showed us what it is to be a man. And women, whether you like it or not, you don't know what it's like being a man. You don't. It's not all peaches and cream over here. It's not all beer and, parties. It's not. There are struggles out here for men that women could not comprehend. And I'm not saying women have it easy, because you don't, but the suicide rates among men speak for themselves. The fact that 80% of all suicides are men is a terrible stat. Awful stat. There is an epidemic among men that needs to be fixed. Don't fix it with pills. Don't fix it with drugs. Don't fix it with physical interactions. Physical interactions. Talk to someone. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, you can always email me or message me anywhere. That goes out to any fans listening. You can talk to me at any time. And I will help as best I can. I will talk as long as I can. Because your life is better being lived than it is when you're dead. I'd rather talk to you than tell a story about you. What's beautiful about a lot of this is the fact that not only did I get to experience the lives of my grandmother and my grandfather, but I also got to experience my nieces and nephews, the circle of life. And I got to gain appreciation for the life I'm living, and understand that the meaning behind why I'm living, the meaning behind why I'm here, the fact that I'm just not like everybody else, but I'm like everybody else in the same sentence. I may be different, but in a lot of ways, we are the same. I deal with depression and anxiety every day. Every day. And I'm a big advocate in saying it's not easy, but you can push through it and we can get through it together. Men, we compete. We like to compete, and sometimes it takes us down a rabbit hole of depression that we should not be having to feel, but unfortunately, that's what we feel. And it's good to compete, but it's also good to love. It's also good to be there. It's also good to be a friend, be someone who makes someone's day that day. Be someone. Be someone. Be there for your friend. Be there for your family. Be there for a fucking stranger. Just be there. Just do it. This life is too fragile to let the stigmas in life, let the stigmas in society take control of where we're at. We all know what it's meant to be. They want they want men to suppress their feelings because if you're emotionally intelligent, you're dangerous to everyone else. They want men to believe that if you're somewhat confident in yourself, then you're cocky and you boast. You're allowed to be confident. Just because you're confident doesn't make you cocky. Just because you believe in yourself doesn't make you cocky or arrogant. You are who you are and let your fucking shit go. If you do something good, tell yourself you did. I don't care what you're doing. If you're taking out trash for a living and you took out 30 trash cans yesterday, do 31 tomorrow. And if you, Cat Williams said, if you got 10 haters in your life, by the end of summertime, you need to have 20 of them. You need to have 20. Because if you don't got anybody hating you in your life or hating on you in your life, then you ain't doing something right. If the devil ain't showing up, you're doing something wrong. If anger ain't showing up in your life from other people, from your success, then you're not doing something right. Then you're not doing something right. Life is precious, and everybody needs to realize that. And if no one told you today, you matter. If no one's checked on you recently, consider this a check-in. If you're tired of being strong for everyone else, just know it's okay to take the cap off. It's okay to take the mask off. It's okay to take some rest. It's okay to let yourself relax. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. You don't have to carry that weight alone. You don't have to suffer in silence because healing is a process. And that doesn't make you weak, it makes you a whole person. So if you're not, if you're out there holding it in, crying behind closed doors, screaming in the pillows, or numbing yourself with the gym, drugs, alcohol, whatever your vice is, just to make it through another day, this is your sign. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to feel, and it is okay to speak up. You're not broken. You're not alone. You're just human. And there is nothing more powerful. There is nothing more beautiful. There is nothing more gorgeous. There is nothing better than a man who finally learns how to heal and learns how to be himself, learns what emotional intelligence is, learns that he is not alone, learns that it is time to speak up, learns that people would rather hear your voice than read your obituary. And this is a serious topic. It really, truly is. The amount of men dying in this world due to suicide, taking their own life, is disgraceful and shameful and disgusting. You're not alone. You're not alone. We've all been through it. Like I said, I deal with depression and anxiety every day. But I know if I ever needed to, I could reach out to somebody and we could talk about it. Like I said, you're not broken. You're not alone. You're just human. And there is nothing more powerful, nothing more beautiful, nothing greater than a man who finally learns to heal. If no one told you today, you matter. If no one's checked on you recently, consider this your check-in. If you're tired of being strong for everyone else, just know it's okay to take that mask off. It's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to rest. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. It's okay to not be okay. Until next time, this is your boy. Reminded you, just chill, young blood. Just chill.